I am absolutely overjoyed that Margaret Atwood is going to be the first writer for Future Library. She is completely visionary and she's one of the greatest living authors today.
Well, I thought it was a wonderful idea and it appealed to me immediately, so I instantly said yes. It does appeal to that side of us who, as children, buried things here and there, little trinkets, little boxes, hoping that somebody would dig them up later.
Margaret Atwood's writing is a bit like a telescope to our world. It helps us look forward in time, but also back in time and also deeply into the present. I think her writing is so expansive and it allows an incredible imaginary leap. She has so much vision about what could happen to humanity, and she's really concerned for humanity itself.
The primary big threat is we should not kill the ocean, because if we do, our species will stop breathing, because it is the marine algae that make a large percentage of the atmosphere that we breathe. And our second big task is to develop a form of cheap energy that won't kill us.
Right now the forest is growing really quietly, really slowly, and actually this artwork evolves over the entire 100 years. It's not only now or the future, it's growing and it's evolving and it's changing with the world itself.
It's very optimistic to do a project that believes that there will be people in 100 years, that those people will still be reading, that they will be interested in opening all of these boxes and seeing what's inside them, and that we will be able to communicate across time, which is what any book is in any case. It's always a communication across space and time. This one is just a little bit longer.
At the core of Future Library is the book, is the printed book on paper. We're growing a book effectively over 100 years. There's also lots of questions like, what will technology be like in 100 years? Will the printed book still even exist? We're burying or storing a printing press in the library so that we can teach the next generations how to make and print books, because we just don't know if they'll exist.
Several years ago, we were being told that everything was going to be digital. It turns out that it's not.
I love to imagine what Margaret Atwood might write. We'll never ever know. But if she does write about a future, to a future, I wonder how much these futures are going to align themselves. Will it become real?
I'm not allowed. It's part of the deal that you can't tell what you're writing. You can't tell anything about it, so I'm not telling.
Future Library is hopeful in its essence because it believes there's even going to be a reader in the future. We're going to grow the trees, we're going to sustain them, we're going to do everything we possibly can to ensure that this book is printed in 100 years' time.
Nature doesn't really care whether there are human beings or not. I'm sorry to break this to you.
And actually, where the artwork takes place is in the imagination of the visitors, because they can look at these titles and they can project into the future, and they can write these stories in their minds, and they can imagine who is this distant future, who are these unborn writers, and think only not about now, but what the next 100 years is going to involve, and as a species, will we even exist? That's something that Margaret Atwood is thinking about.
Kill the ocean and you die. I mean, it's very simple. The rest are details.
The Norwegian writer Knut Hamsun once said, in 100 years, all will be forgotten.
But we haven't forgotten him, so he was wrong.